Hi guys. So in this video we are going to talk about some basic API terminologies. Before we get started, I would want you guys to check out the video which is being highlighted on the top right, which will tell us some basic things about the API. So if you have gone through that video, then we can continue uh, on learning what the API terms are. So, the first thing is let's talk about an API. So, for example, when people say that there is API that has been exposed, what does that mean is, for example, this is like a university API where you have multiple resources which are called as faculty, or it has multiple courses, or it has multiple students, right? So a university has those things. So the three nouns which I said are called as resources, API resources. So resources are nothing but, if I say it like this is resource number one, which is nothing but maybe let's say courses. Source number two, faculty. Source number three is student. So any application on any person who wants information about courses will try to get this particular resource. If they are trying to fetch an information about faculty or trying to post an update about faculty, they'll try to go with this resource. And when we talk about a student, when they want to fetch number of students or some student details, they'll go towards the student resource. So we know what an API is, what a resource is. So resources are nothing but we can say that something which are noun, as you can see over here, which are courses, faculty, student, and these are nouns, right? And you can do anything with these nouns. You can add them, you can delete them, you can check the information. So it is called as an API resource. And what are endpoints now? So for each resource, if you see over here, just imagine that there are like endpoints, something like this. Okay, and each endpoint, when you try to hit, it has a separate URL, some base URL, like for example, our university dot com slash courses. So courses, and this is going to be a get operation. I'll come to what get operation is, but let's focus on this part first. So ouruniversity.com slash courses, so this is one endpoint which will give you the list of all the courses. Now if you want to add a particular course, then that will be this endpoint. It would be ouruniversity.com slash courses slash some id, because each resource will have its own unique identifier, something like a primary key in the database, right? So we have something like id. So through this you can post a new course in this endpoint. Same we will have something for delete as well, right? So our university dot com slash courses slash id. Again, if you give a particular id, this particular resource, which is nothing but a single course, will be deleted. So this will be like a post operation. Post means you are adding a new resource, and this will be a delete operation. That means you are going to delete the particular resource. So this is also an endpoint, this is also an endpoint, this is also an endpoint. So each resource has got their endpoint. An endpoint means there are some specific operations that you can do on this particular resource. So in this case, over here, this endpoint, you can do some operation which is specific to faculty resource. Over here again, you can do some other operation which is related to this faculty, maybe delete and faculty. Here we have an add a faculty, here get all faculties. So these are endpoints over here. So I'll make it as endpoints, right? So we are clear with what an API is. An API, you can check in the video that I had discussed about earlier. There would be a link in the beginning. And then what we have as noun are nothing but the resources, and these are nothing but the endpoints over here, right? So now let's talk about what a client and what a server is. So whatever I spoke about, the resources, right? So the API, this is, just imagine that this is a server, and client is nothing but like maybe Internet Explorer or Google Chrome or any app that's trying to fetch the information from the server is a client. All right. So client is nothing but what we do is we send a request to the server, any request. I'll tell you what a request is, and we get a response out of it. So it's always about a request and response, and it's always this direction. A client sends request to the server because the server has all the information about faculty, about the students, and about everything, all the resources, and then it sends back a response. So this is what a client is, and you know what a request and a response is. So yeah. So request and response also depends on what type of request you are going to send. It could be, there are four main operations. It could be a get operation, it could be a delete operation, it could be a post operation, or it could be a put operation. So these four are nothing but HTTP methods or operations, right? So what you do is, along with the URL what you send it to the endpoint, you also have to send a particular operation with that. So get is nothing but you will hit this particular endpoint over here, and you will be able to get all the courses, right? So there could be an endpoint for delete as well, could be as for post as well. And think about the URLs. Just imagine, like, when you are trying to get courses, you don't need a particular ID. Well, obviously you need ID as well if you want a specific course, but in general, if you want to see what all courses the university provides, you just have to send courses and a get method over here, right? So it will give you all the courses. But if you want a, a particular course, for example databases, that needs to be deleted, it has an ID in that. You cannot straight away go and say that delete this URL courses. No, you cannot delete all the courses, right? There should be a particular ID that needs to be given, and through that a course can be deleted. Same goes for the other operations as well. The operations I'll explain in detail in some other video, but this video is all about the API terms. So just we'll stick to that at the moment. So we are good with I think an API, what an API is, what are resources, what are the endpoints, then what a client is, what a server is, what is a request, what's a response, and what are HTTP methods or operations. So these are like very, very basic API terms, and obviously, I couldn't get into more detail because I will be creating separate videos specific to each topics. But I hope it was clear for you what the basic API terms are. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and comment. It would be really helpful for me. And see you in the next video. So thank you, everyone.